Guys, there is so much going on with this market right now. It's hard to keep up, but I'm trying to get through your requests, and I keep getting asked about Hyperliquid. When are you buying Hyperliquid? What's going on with Astar? We've had Arthur Hayes has come out and said that he sold his entire bag of Hyperliquid, near Zcash, all kind of assets he has been dumping on the market. So we've got a lot to get through. We've been taking profits on our shorts. We've been taking profits on our Hyperliquid short. So I've got a lot to update you in this video. Please watch to the end because, as always, I'm going to try and make it educational so you can kind of get into my head of what I'm planning to do with these assets, because I do think that they will do well in the future. So first of all, Hyperliquid, absolute beast. One of the first times I've been in this space, around 6 years. I've worked in the industry. I've worked at crypto exchanges. I've worked with market makers, developers, new startup projects. I've never seen this kind of interest and volumes, and I've never seen an asset like this just go up billions of dollars in market cap whilst the entire market has collapsed. Solana came down nearly 70-80%, whilst Hyperliquid just continued to go straight to the upside, right? We saw even Ethereum completely crashed, I think over 70%, whilst Tom Lee is shilling and BlackRock is shilling and everybody is shilling Ethereum as, this revolutionary financial tool. Yet we see Hyperliquid not even phased by the rest of the market crashing. BTC even came down to 59K, and still Hyperliquid has held up very well. We cannot deny how well this asset has held up, and we should pay attention to that, because I'm always open to the idea this time's different. I'll tell you why I haven't bought Hyperliquid, but I am definitely open to the idea of this time's different, because we're seeing it react differently to any time we've seen before. And I'm going to talk about why that might be. We're going to look at the on-chain metrics and stuff, right? So breaking news, Arthur Hayes come out, he's dumped his entire hype position near. I think it was 3 days after he was tweeting saying that hype's going straight to $150. Don't quote me on that. I think that's exactly what he said. He came out and said he's dumped his entire bag for reasons I don't really understand. He said that Binance could be a competitor. I mean, Binance have had a very long time now to try and compete with Hyperliquid. I'm sure they would have already tried to either take them on or cause some issues or whatever. We haven't seen that so far, so it's very surprising, some of his reasons. If you're worried about a competitor, surely you should have been worried down here, not after it's shown strength, right? So it doesn't really add up to me. He's also come out and said Hyperliquid's fee-driven hype buyback model could face pressure as TradFi exchanges and major crypto venues move into the perp market. Again, we've seen lots of these perps added to TradFi exchanges. We still don't see the users dropping off of Hyperliquid. In fact, we've seen quite the opposite. The fees and revenue have really spiked over the last few days and weeks. And it was quite consistent here. We saw a little bit of a drop off around the end of the market. This is where we sold a lot of our portfolio, right around September, October 2025. As usual, end of the 4-year cycle. And we've seen pretty stable revenue generation, and now even a massive spike in fees and revenue. Okay, so we're seeing kind of the opposite of what we're hearing from Arthur Hayes here. So not too sure on this, not too confident on this. I don't know what the angle is there. Some people have speculated that he's trying to buy lower and he's trying to manipulate the market. Don't quote me on that. This is what people are saying. Look on Chain posted that Arthur Hayes bought back 33,000 hype worth $2 million. 4 days ago, he posted that he dumped his entire hype to take profit when the price was above $72. Hype then dropped 23% below $56. 40 minutes ago, a wallet linked to Arthur Hayes withdrew. This is the beautiful thing about the blockchain. This is one of the reasons we've made so much money over the last 5 years. We basically trade off data. We're tracking wallets, we're tracking insiders, we're looking at the smart money, we're looking at the institutions. I can go into Dragonfly Capital's portfolio, I can see their entire portfolio. I can go into Coinbase Ventures, I can see when they're selling assets, when they're buying assets. It's given us an advantage over the market because not many people jumped on this when it first came out. We were one of the first channels to start tracking smart money on chain, which ended up, turning into huge gains, right? We saw so many insiders getting into assets early. We followed them in, and then we would make 10x, 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 because the insiders are usually the ones connected to the project or the market makers. So I love these channels like Look on Chain. You can't hide from the blockchain, right? You literally cannot hide from the blockchain, and they will track your accounts. They will track your wallets. Now, Arthur came out and said, I didn't buy shit. Okay. So he's denying that he actually purchased this, but we still see Look on Chain, who are a very respectable account, and I'll go and follow them because I think they're a great channel. And they said it's connected. Okay. So he might, I can't speculate. Okay. So they're saying that it's connected, and there's a possibility that some money's being moved around and someone's using that money to buy Hyperliquid. We can't prove it, but again, you can't hide from the blockchain. We've talked about this on Rob's channel, right? I talked about the power of Hyperliquid, not just Hyperliquid, but the narrative of these revenue generating perp dexes, this buyback mechanism, and how powerful it is. A long time ago, this was 8 months ago, we were talking about the power of perp dexes. And this was on Digital Asset News with Rob. Go and follow the channel. If you're not following, you can see down here, Digital Asset News. Go and subscribe. And then this is another free channel. So on this one, it's not subscribed, but on my main I am. So
Hyperliquid,
just have a quick listen to this.
Basically, what he's saying is Hyperliquid is going to wipe out Binance and Coinbase because it's decentralized. It's providing access to the entire world. There's no KYC, and anyone can go on there, and they're obviously introducing more features. So basically, Hyperliquid have finessed the business model, and Hyperliquid's token. What happens is the fees that Hyperliquid make, they put 97% of that back into the token. And then what happens to the Hyperliquid token is it just goes up over time. It doesn't matter whether a whale sells or not, right? If a whale sells, maybe some people made a lot of money, they just continue to buy the token back. And then more people sell and take profit. Maybe they hit a 10x, they hit a 15x. The protocol continues to buy back the token. So you could argue, that there is no top to this business model, because the only way this business model fails is if people stop trading on Hyperliquid and the users were going up. More and more people were finding out about Hype. More and more people were having access to trade on Hype. More and more people were getting restricted from using centralized exchanges. So as long as the user base grows and kind of sustains, it doesn't have to grow forever, right? Because it can sustain if it's making $10 million a day in revenue, and it's putting that back into the token continues to go up. It really doesn't matter who sells, because the protocol continues to buy. So you could argue it's quite similar to the MicroStrategy system, except it doesn't have the dilution, because MicroStrategy buys Bitcoin, the stock goes up, but then MicroStrategy sells the stock and they create more stock, and it dilutes the value of it, right? So it almost sounds too good to be true, which I don't like. It sounds too good to be true, right? There's no top, it can go up forever, which we've been in crypto before and seen this many times. But from as far as I can understand, the only risk here is security, and as long as this is CZ, this is Binance.
So yeah, you get the gist, guys. Amazing model. There is technically no top. If you're going to keep buying back the token and your users increase, or even if they increase and sustain, you continue to buy, everybody sells. It creates this holder mentality as well. Why am I going to sell if the protocol is just going to keep buying millions and millions of the token back? Because I'm going to end up selling at some point, and they're just going to buy back and buy back. And this creates this diamond-handed, it's almost like BTC, but kind of better, right? Creates this diamond-handed mentality of Hyperliquid's just going to buy it back, and everybody knows no one's going to stop trading, right? Crypto gaming, you might play a crypto game on Solana, it might die, everyone gets bored, and it just goes down 99%. One thing we can be pretty sure of, that no one is going to stop trading, no one's going to stop gambling, no one's going to stop trying to make money, especially when we have so much interest in stocks, investing, and trying to generate wealth. We can rest assured that trading pretty much isn't going anywhere, and we have this amazing business model that just keeps buying back the token. One thing I did say on that video is the biggest risk we have is security. Now, we cannot deny the whole space is getting hit hard by security, right? And AI is coming out and finding vulnerabilities, as we've just seen with Zcash. an AI model has found a massive vulnerability which drops the price of Zcash. How do we know that that's not going to happen to Hyperliquid, right? That's the biggest problem. A vulnerability comes out, there's a massive problem with Hyperliquid and it crashes. I believe that CZ, Binance, Brian Armstrong would have already done what they could to try and find that vulnerability because it's a massive competitor. It's taken a lot of money away from them. They're absolute savages. They do not want competition, especially a competition that's taken so many of their large institutional clients. I would imagine they've pretty much tried everything possible to try and FUD or bring down Hyperliquid. And the fact we haven't seen that yet does give me faith in Hyperliquid security, but we can't rule out that there must be some kind of a percentage chance that it could have an issue, a vulnerability, a hack in the future, which is why I would never be able to go heavy into a protocol like this. It's not like a stock, right? It's a it's a perp deck, so it's reliant on code, and now we're building technology that can really try and crack some of this code that a lot of the best people have not seen, right? And a lot of people didn't see the vulnerability in Zcash, but AI has actually come out and see that, and AI is going to get smarter over time. So this is always a risk. Now it's a very low chance, but I like to take risk management seriously. That's why I wouldn't be too crazy heavy in any crypto asset personally. But yeah, it's a very, very small chance. So everybody's going to know when are you going to buy hype, right? Because you keep saying it sells, they're going to buy back, it sells, they're going to buy back. I stick to the same strategy I've always stuck to because it's worked for me, right? Buying the bear market, selling the bull run. I posted this back in, when was this? January 2025. This is where we started to take more profits off the table. I think Solana was $241. Look, you can't make it up. It was pretty much the top of the market, right? We bought down here in the bear market. You can see my post in Discord. Buy alert Solana 23.94. And then we started to take profits in the peaks. Every time we went into an alt season, okay, I started to take profits off of the table again. Another alt season here. And then we had one more alt season. I think it was up to around 240, 230. And then we took our final bags and we sold the entire market, right? Bear market down here, bull run, you sell, you get out. Bear market down here, bull run, you sell, you get out, right? Repeat, repeat, repeat. That's the strategy. That's what I'm going to do with Hyperliquid. The problem is we've just witnessed Solana come down 70, 80%, BTC down 50%, Ethereum down 60, 70%, Hyperliquid move into the upside, okay? Very, very big problem. This time's different. Huge, huge asset, huge institutional adoption. And this time is different. But I can't FOMO into an asset that is close to all-time highs. It's not all-time highs right now. It's close to all-time highs. Now, on top of that, Arthur Hayes has just fudded it, saying that other competition might come along and, there might be some more downside here. And we're already bouncing. It came down to 55, and people are already buying the dip at $60. Okay. So the fact that Arthur's dumped his bag, I mean, look, fate loves irony, right? What are the odds that we do push up to 150 and Arthur Hayes actually sold the bottom of this dip? It's possible, right? It's definitely possible. Like I just said, they're going to continue to keep buying back the token. We don't know if this is just going to continue to move to the upside. Where I normally buy, so where I would normally buy Hyperliquid and just altcoins in general is when BTC finds a bottom, okay, just like we did in this last bear market, right down here. When you get this sideways action, bear market's over, right? Downtrend, you start to go sideways. Normally lasts many, many weeks of sideways. And then this is the accumulation phase. This is where I like to load up. People lose their minds. It's boring. Volatility completely drops off the radar. And assets tend to go sideways for many months before they end up breaking out and going into the next 4-year cycle, right? History has served me well. I'm not going to go against history. I'm not going to suddenly trade this time's different, even though we are seeing Hyperliquid is moving differently to most altcoins. I'm not going to jump into that narrative and I'm going to buy. So that means whenever I call the market bottom and I start to buy Sol and I start to buy these assets and BTC, I am going to buy hype at whatever price it is because I do believe they're just going to continue to do buybacks. We already see that the gatekeepers of TradFi are letting them have access. I don't know how they're getting so much support from TradFi, but the gatekeepers of TradFi are literally giving them ETFs, The Nasdaq has partnered with them. It's almost like they don't. It's almost like they prefer Hyperliquid to Binance. And I kind of see this narrative where they want hype to overtake Binance. And if TradFi want that, TradFi will probably make that happen, and they'll give them all the support they need to make that happen. So watch Hyperliquid over the next 4 or 5 years, because something's going down here. And I do think the market cap's very big. I do think we're going into a bear market, but there is something happening behind the scenes here where maybe the institutions have a large stake in Hyperliquid and they think it can take on Binance. And if it can flip Binance and flip Coinbase, it could be huge over the next 4 to 5 years. What am I going to do? Am I going to FOMO? No, I never FOMO. I'm going to wait for the entire market to crash. When I think BTC is bottomed, which I'll post in my Discord, when I think it's bottomed, when I start to buy again, that is when I am going to buy Hyperliquid. What am I going to do with Astar? Because we need to talk about Astar as well. By the way, look at the revenue at the moment. I think annualized, it is fees annualized 1.06 billion. And just think, guys, this could double or triple if they continue to gain user adoption, right? Especially if TradFi is supporting them. So the buybacks, the more users they get, the bigger the buybacks are going to be, and they just keep buying back the token. It's going to get frothy. So I was short in hype. We got in around 68. By the way, very, very risky shorting strong assets. Why did I short Hyperliquid? Well, I was up quite early when Hayes announced that he was selling, and it was a no-brainer, right? Hayes come out. I think in the UK, most of America is asleep between 4 a.m. and I think 9 a.m., maybe even 10 a.m. Because obviously there's a huge gap between California and New York and stuff. But they usually do this kind of stuff when the most traders are asleep, the most investors are asleep, because liquidity is at its lowest. No one's around to kind of stop themselves getting liquidated and place new trades. So it was around this kind of time that I saw the sell. So I got in early. It's very risky shorting when everyone's awake. So if you wake up with everyone else and the price is like this, you're probably going to end up short in the bottom and getting liquidated in the bounce. So it becomes very risky. But if you're quite early, so let's say he announces here and I got in quite early, I'll take the short, but I'm not going to be greedy, because more often than not, everybody just buys the dip, right? Because they know Hayes has sold. He's created the FUD. He's created the fear. Retail would probably be short in here when they woke up. Unexperienced retail would probably be short in here. So I completely closed my trade and I took profits. So I made a lot of money on those shorts, and yeah, I took profit, and now the price is moving to the upside. I am in a long position, by the way, as well on Hyperliquid, which I have posted in my Discord. So congratulations if you took that, because that is flying as well. Astar, a lot of people got asking what's going on with Astar. So obviously I used to work at an exchange, so I know how market makers work. I can pretty much almost say with high certainty that there's a market maker buying Astar, and it seems to be hovering around 0.63. We dropped down here to 0.43, but you can see here it's roughly getting bought up around 0.6. And someone said, well, what does this mean? So a market maker basically buys the asset at a certain price. So it seems like they're buying around 0.6 at the moment. And every time the price comes down, they'll just buy more, buy more, buy more, buy more. Does this mean that they won't manipulate the price? Absolutely not. Some people might even be longing at 0.6 because it looks like strong support. If I was a market maker and I knew the price was going to rally to the upside, maybe there's a new deal with the Nasdaq or the S&P, then I would rug it first, right? I would rug it and then send it. Try and think like a market maker. A lot of people are taking longs here. I think they're absolutely insane, expecting the price to just do this, right? It could do this, absolutely, but think like a market maker. Why would you just go and pay out all of those long positions when you could liquidate them first, buy the dip at a lower price, and then send it? So this is the kind of move I'm waiting for on Astar, to maybe buy more. I don't know if I'm going to 100% buy more. Why? Because look, you have to think this is the second asset in this revenue generating perp dex. What happens if Hyperliquid just continues to go up to like 50 billion, 100 billion, 200 billion? There's going to be interest in Astar. Okay, it's the second asset. People will just buy it because the market cap divergence is so big, right? You can't have Hyperliquid at 100 billion cap and then Astar at 1 or 2 billion cap, right? People will just buy it out of hope that people are going to use it, or maybe they're going to partner with someone. Maybe they also partner with the NASDAQ. Maybe they get an ETF in the future. So I do have a moon bag in Astar. As you guys know, I've already sold a lot of my Astar and taken a lot of profits off the table. So the money I have in this is completely free money. We bought in early. As soon as it was launched, we were really early to it. We found it on chain again. We were tracking the smart money. We saw loads of smart money were buying this random new token called Astar. So I looked into it. I was like, oh, great. It's another perp dex. Hyperliquid is hyped as hell. This is probably going to run as well. But then I started to sell. And why? The whales and the smart money were dumping. One of the best leading indicators for both getting in and out early is tracking the smart money. You can see my post here, 7th October. I think this was actually the top of the bull run too, right? TP 25% Astar. A whale is holding 120 million in Astar, sold 10 million. So one wallet was holding 120 million dollars worth of Astar, and there's no way that whale was just going to hold. It was too much. They brought in early, they made a lot of money, and they were slowly dollar cost averaging out. So what I did is I just tracked their wallet, and every time they sold, I took some profits off the table, and took shorts, right? Because we could see the move in the money to exchanges to sell, and then shortly after the price would come down. Because if you send $10 million of an altcoin to an exchange to sell, the liquidity is going to drop, right? It's going to bring the price down. So there were some really nice short positions to take there as well. Another smart money wallet took some profits who holds $8 million worth. They both still have huge bags, but I will shave some profits here as I already have a lot of exposure, right? And I'm up around 7x. So I was up 700% on that play, and yeah, I decided to take some profits off the table. Let's see how it plays out. Maybe people are de-risking into the airdrop because there was an airdrop coming. It makes more sense, right, to take some profits off the table. Maybe they buy more. I just move with the data, and the data says to de-risk, right? So we de-risked, and it turned out to be a very good decision because, you know, it was around $2, and it shortly after dropped to 0.43. So I would have lost most of my money. Pigs get slaughtered. Don't be greedy. You're up 700%. Cash some in, right? I was actually more on my long as well because I bought spot and I bought leverage. Took it on leverage on 3x, so we made huge gains. This was around $2.30. Not as much as our Brett trade. The Brett trade was phenomenal, 55,643%. I missed the bull run, and I hope we can see this again next cycle because yeah, that was good times. Guys, we've been absolutely printing over the last few weeks. We are in loads of different long positions at the moment. These are in huge profits already. You can see some of my entries here. 66% Sol, 79% Hyperliquid, 98% on Ethereum. Big up Patali as well. He took one of the trades, 365% on that hype. He cashed in as well. Very nice, very nice. Pigs get slaughtered. Big up Piggy, ETH, 94%. I think you took the same trades as me. 97% on Sol, 50x leverage. Absolute degen. You took the BTC trade as well, 96%. GG's, bro. Nice little 300% there. Spicy Peanut Butter also took the trade, 143% on that Solana long. Big up Flexicon, 213% on that hype long. And do you know what? We cashed in the shorts as well, right? So look, Steven here also took the hype short, 163%. We shorted WLD, we cashed that in. We've taken complete profits on that as well. Drax, DMB, 310% on that. So we smashed that Solana short. I even posted it on my YouTube, right? So GG's if you took that. I think we got in around 90 and the price came down to 62. So we've been absolutely printing on some of these trades. You can see some more of my trades. Big up the min as well. Yeah, so many trades. WLD, Trump, we're shorting Trump, near 618% I made on that ETH short. Absolutely crazy. I made 983%. It's one of my trades on the BTC short. Look at that, 73 all the way down to 59. And then we took profits and then we started to flip into longs as well. You can't stay, you can't stay in this. I see a lot of people are either bearish or bullish for the entire bear market and bull run. You can't stay in this consistent, oh, I'm bearish, oh, I'm bullish. The market's going to get you at some point or another, and you have to kind of move with the data. Obviously, we have an advantage because I'm using the SMC bot as well, and it prints buy and sell signals on assets inside crypto stocks, whatever you're looking at. So this really helps because a lot of people were bearish down here. Even I was bearish down here, and it printed this buy signal here, and then the stock completely went to the upside. So congratulations if you took that. I didn't actually take that down here. I ended up taking the long here, but I did short on the way down, so I did make a lot of money shorting it on the way down. But if you want to get this, it also comes free with our paid Patreon group. So not only do you get access to the Discord, so you can see all my trades, all my leverage trades, when I'm buying, whenever I buy or sell a stock or a crypto, I will post it inside my Discord. So you will see it first in my Discord. Literally after I buy it, I send it straight to my Discord so you guys can see all those in real time. And then obviously we've got chats in here. We've got VIP chat for those who want to learn more. And then we've got our normal chats down here. Once you join, you can jump in with the rest of the guys. We've got loads of channels in here, so just scroll through if you join. It's a monthly fee, so you don't have to pay like a massive yearly fee or anything like that. If it's not for you, you can leave at any time. But if you want to jump in there, head over to my Twitter, click this link, search this one, the bottom one, not the top one. Click this link, and then that will take you to the page where you can jump in and get involved with us. So Astar, look, I've got quite a decent bag in Astar. It's free money. I don't really want to put myself in a position where I can make a loss. And now I don't really care, right? I do think it's going to do well over time. I do think that they have to try and compete with Hyperliquid, otherwise they're going to completely run away with the market. They are still making revenue. People are still using Astar, and I do think they will form large partnerships over time. I'm not really too concerned if it goes sideways for 10 months, right? I know a lot of people every day, oh, what's going on with Astar? Where's my gains? Where's my profits? It's going down. Same thing will happen if the price goes down, right? They'll go, oh, Astar's dead, Astar's finished, it's over. This is the nice thing about taking profits. You don't really care. You stop looking at the chart, and if you have faith in this potentially doing something in time, you just wait for the next cycle, right? Just wait for the next bull run is what I'm planning to do. If it really drops, like if it drops 70, 80%, sure, I'll probably buy a little bit more. I'm talking if it comes down below my entry was around 42, right? I'm still in profits on this today, even after taking loads of profits at the top. If it comes down below my entry, there's no point in me buying more at a higher price than I could have bought. Why wouldn't I have just bought more down here, right? So if it drops below my entry and has a real big panic sell off, or maybe the market maker decides to rug all of the long positions, and maybe an institution wants to load up on Astar and they create an entry for them, happy days, right? I'll load up and buy some more. Until then, it's a free lottery ticket. I can't lose. And if you've been following the channel, you probably can't lose too, because you'll be in the same situation as us. What else do we need to look at? So we looked at the gains, so many gains. Solana short 632%. We shorted Ondo. Yeah, absolutely cleaned up. Absolutely cleaned up. I think we've pretty much talked about everything we wanted to talk about. Guys, is there anything else you want me to talk about on the channel? There's so much going on in the market. I literally can't even keep up with the war stuff that I would like to talk about. Yeah, if there's anything you want me to talk about, what's your thoughts on Hyperliquid, Astar? Do you think that Astar is going to make a comeback one day? Do you think Hyperliquid is going to do what I've talked about? Do you think it's going to do this over time? Or do you think when we start to go into that final leg of the bear market, do you think Hyperliquid is actually going to have the bear market drawdown? I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't know what's going to happen, but I can't buy FOMO, right? I can never buy FOMO. I think if we do come down to the levels that I think BTC is going to come down to, I think we are going to see a correction. And it's just how big is that correction going to be? I have no idea. But I just stick to the strategy that's always worked for me. I don't try and outsmart the market. I don't try and think I'm smarter than the smart money. I'll see on chain when all of these institutions start buying up Hyperliquid. I'll see it on chain first. When they start long in Hyperliquid, we're going to see all of the data on chain. And, it's about being humble and just remembering that these guys, it's hard to compete with these guys. You could argue they run the market, right? They have billions and billions of dollars, and they kind of run the market. They know how market cycles work. They know that BTC historically comes down 60, 70, 80% around this kind of time. And I think they're going to be the first to move, right? I think we'll see them move. Then we'll see them start to shill it. Once they're positioned, we'll see them shill it across socials, across the market. And then I'm interested in accumulating once the market's kind of bottomed and we see the smart money start to position. then I'm really, really excited about getting into this. Guys, if you enjoyed the video, click like, click subscribe to stay up to date with the latest. I'm at a friend's wedding at the moment, so I sound absolutely ropey because we've been doing a lot of drinking. But I had to get this out to you guys. So drop a like and subscribe. Don't forget, none of the information in this video is financial advice. Do your own research. Investing in anything, stocks, crypto, investing in anything is highly risky, and you can lose all of your money at any moment whatsoever. So always do your own research and study risk management. Until then, guys, I'll catch you in the next one.